Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the SoCal Sports Dudes podcast. Jason Wen here. Hey, today it's October, late October now. We got basketball underway, World Series coming up. Got college football, NFL, hockey, a lot of sports going on right now. But wanted to come at you guys today with an NFL video. As we know, Week 7 just wrapped up. It was a fun week there and around the league. So I wanted to kind of go through do a quick summary on each of the games and then kind of take an early look at Week 8, some of the point spreads there. So last Thursday night we saw Jacksonville beat New Orleans. Trevor Lawrence, 204 yards passing, 59 yards rushing. ATN had 2 touchdowns. New Orleans came up short there. Kamara, 62 rushing yards, 91 receiving yards. Solid effort there statistically. And I got him on my fantasy team, so I'll take that. You got me almost 30 points there, man. So, surprise on Sunday, New England beat Buffalo. Buffalo was favored by 11.5. And yeah, not a good performance by them. Mac Jones was solid, 25 out of 30, 272 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think still too much pressure on Josh Allen to have to do everything for Buffalo. Yeah, not a game that they should be losing there, especially with their aspirations that they have. Atlanta beat Tampa Bay 16-13. Atlanta had 156 rushing yards. Chicago over the Raiders. Raiders, of course, Jimmy Garoppolo was out, so Hoyer got the start. Two interceptions. O'Connell came in, touchdown and interception. Foreman had 89 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, and backup quarterback Badgett, 21 out of 29. So the Bears get the win there, keep things going. Baltimore over Detroit, which is kind of a little surprise there of how bad this beatdown was. 38-6. Lamar, big game, 357 yards passing. 3 touchdowns, had a rushing touchdown as well. Gus the Bus had 64 rushing yards, a touchdown, 80-yard reception too. So Detroit, man, just did not look ready. And I'll have to maybe put that one behind them and move on and get that out of their system. Offensive shootout. Cleveland beat Indy 39-38. PJ Walker steps in for Deshaun, who got hurt, and leads them to a win. Ford had a touchdown. Kareem Hunt had 2 TDs. Gardner Minshew, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor had 75 yards and a touchdown. Offensive shootout there, 39-38. Cleveland over Indy. New York beat the Giants beat Washington 14-7. Tyrod had 2 touchdowns. 1 to Derek Waller, who had 7 catches for 98 yards, 6 sacks by the Giants defense. So good performance by them. They showed signs of life there a couple weeks ago when they played Buffalo. We're hanging in there, and maybe they can get out of this hole they've dug to start the season. And they've looked a little better with Tyrod as their quarterback as opposed to Daniel Jones. So stick with this. Maybe he can get him back on track here, man. Seattle over Arizona, 20-10. Geno had 2 touchdowns. Kenneth Walker, 105 rushing yards. Pittsburgh beat the Rams, 24-17. Pickens had 100-plus yards. Nakua for the Rams had 8 catches, 154 yards. But Cooper Kupp, only 2 catches, man. I have him on my fantasy team as my flex. 2 catches, Cooper Kupp. Come on, man. But, good performance by the Steelers defense to get the win there. Denver beats Green Bay, 19-17. Kind of a ho-hum performance there by the Packers. Jordan Love, man, I've got Packer fans probably going to start asking the question, is he the guy, the long-term answer there at quarterback? KC over the Chargers, 31-17. Big game for Patrick Mahomes, 424 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Kelsey had 12 catches, 179 yards, and a touchdown. Man, just video game numbers there for the Chiefs. Philly over Miami, that was a kind of a fun game. Philly had 31-17 over Miami, 26 first downs for Philly, 36-23 time of possession advantage. Of course, this was the battle of Tua versus Jalen Hurts, the former Alabama quarterbacks. As we know, a few years ago now, Tua steps in for Hurts and leads Alabama Crimson Tide there to the national championship. Hurts gets the better of him in this game. A.J. Brown, 10 catches, 137 yards and a touchdown. Goddard, 5 catches for 77 yards and a touchdown. Tyreek Hill had 11 catches, but only 88 yards and a touchdown. So Philly's defense kind of held him in check. And then on Monday night, that was a fun game. Niners come up short against Minnesota, 22-17. Vikings get the win. 35-25 time of possession there for the Vikings. Brock Purdy, man, 2 costly interceptions there in the second half. That kind of ends up being the difference. I think the Niners were in position to maybe drive down the field, get the go-ahead touchdown there, but yeah, got picked off twice by the same guy too, right? So Kirk Cousins solid, man, 35 out of 45, 378 yards, and then Addison 7 catches for 123 yards, a couple touchdowns, and ripped that one ball away from the DB and took it to the house. So yeah, exciting rookie there. And yeah, Minnesota, man, maybe that's a good win that they needed to get them back on track there. So looking at week 8 coming up here. There's already week 8 in the NFL coming right up, man. Time's zipping right by. So Thursday night we'll have Tampa Bay at Buffalo. Maybe a try to get right game for Buffalo there. They're 8.5-point favorites. Atlanta going to Sunday night. Atlanta's at Tennessee. Atlanta's favored by 2.5. Tennessee's gonna be starting Will Levis. Of course, they just traded their safety Byard to the Eagles. And then rumors are they going to be trading or moving on from Derrick Henry? That's, I don't know, man. Maybe Tennessee's in sell mode now and ready to move on from it. It seems like the season's still got quite a ways to go to get it turned around. And I don't know what their plans are though, man. It's been a little bit of a lackluster year so far for Tennessee. Minnesota, after, like I just mentioned them, big win against the Niners. Now they're at Green Bay. Green Bay's showing 1-point favorite early on, but this type of game that Minnesota needs to string together a couple of wins here and follow up that performance Monday night against Green Bay, and yeah, go out there and get a win if they can. Houston at Carolina. Houston's 3-point favorites there. Battle, of course, of the first 2 picks there with Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. Houston's looked pretty solid this year, man. D'Amico Ryan, C.J. Stroud's played really good. Yeah, man, I think he's looked better than Bryce Young, at least at this point. So battle of the top 2 picks there. Jacksonville at Pittsburgh. Jacksonville is early on is a 2.5-point favorite. They've been playing solid. They're 5-2 now. Pittsburgh, similar record, right? They're 5-2 as well. 4-2. Okay, but yeah, good game there. A couple of some of the better, or at least upper half teams there in the AFC. New Orleans at Indy. Indy's a 1.5-point favorite. I got the Rams at Dallas, 6.5. Dallas is favored. Maybe that could be a fun game. Rams have been kind of, I don't know, lackluster a little bit, but yeah, that potentially could be a fun game. Giants and Jets go at it. Jets, I guess the Giants are the home team here. Jets are 3-point favorites. Looks like potentially a good defensive type struggle there, but yeah, Battle of New York right there, man. Philly is at Washington. Philly's 6.5-point favorites. Division rival game, though. Those teams know each other so well. Anything could happen. On paper, you would think, oh, Philly's got the advantage, but you never know, man. Washington probably going to want to come back after that performance last week against the Giants. New England at Miami. Miami's 9.5-point favorites. Can New England keep it going after that win they got last week at Buffalo? Hey, it's never too late, man. Get turned around. Everyone was calling for Belichick's head and, ditch Mac Jones and blow the whole team up. But, hey, you get a win against Buffalo and suddenly you start asking the questions again. Hey, maybe they can get restarted or get back on track and make a little bit of a run here. I mean, I wouldn't think so, but you never know. I mean, that was a good win for them last week. Miami needs to bounce back after that loss at Philly. Cleveland's at Seattle. P.J. Walker will be starting at quarterback for Cleveland. Seattle's 3-point favorites in that one. Baltimore at Arizona, 8.5-point favorites are the Ravens. That is, that's after that good win against the Lions last week. You'd like to see if they can keep that rolling. Been kind of a rough year so far for the Cardinals, but yeah, maybe Baltimore turned a little bit of a corner there with the new offensive coordinator there from Georgia, that Monken, and they look good last week, man. Got to string those performances together and roll through some wins here. KC at Denver, 7.5-point favorites. KC on the road there. Cincy's at San Fran. I see San Fran though. Brock Purdy had concussion protocol, so chances it looks like Darnold's going to get the start there. Niners are showing 5.5-point favorites early on when I wrote these lines, but that line might be changed now with the change in quarterback there. Cincinnati, you know, they got a slow start, but they have all the talent in the world, so they can maybe get rolling. And Niners got to come back, man. Otherwise, you don't want Niner fans. You don't want to see them lose a third straight. You know, this could be a tough one here against a good team in Cincy. Chicago's at the Chargers. That's a Sunday night game, man. It's not very. I don't know. Can they flex that out or change that lineup? That's a game. I don't know how interested America is in wanting to tune into that. But Chargers are 8.5-point favorites. I think Justin Fields is still going to be out with that thumb injury. And then Monday night, Vegas Raiders at Detroit Lions. Lions, Monday Night Football, man. That's been probably a long time since Lions have been on primetime Monday night game. But Lions are 8.5-point favorites there. We'll have to see, of course, the status of Jimmy G, but that's got to be a very emotional type game there for Detroit to have a Monday night home game. I'm sure they're going to be fired up for that. Lion fans are going to be ready to go there. So, but yeah, I just want to come at you guys with this NFL video. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll keep an eye on see how these games play out, and we'll see you in the next one. All right, later.